Hearing the chanting from the city lord's manor, the Taoist's expression darkened. The summoner has already connected to the devil realm. This is bad move now. Linding rushed forward, shouting for the immediate execution of the demons inside the manor. Within the manor, Qin Mu's consciousness plunged through the devil god statue into endless darkness. A colossal scarlet eye opened before him, followed by two more. Vast and overwhelming, they gazed down upon him. Weakling, a thunderous voice echoed, "You summon duty and Devil King." Qin Mu knelt in spirit. "Great Devil King, descend. I offer you the lives of all divine arts practitioners in Heaven Wave City." The eyes ignited. "As you wish." The altar blazed. Heaven Wave City appeared beneath Qin Mu's gaze as lives. Vanished one by one, the Devil King confirming his sacrifice. When Qin Mu protested, the Devil King silenced him, forcibly using his consciousness to descend. The statue cracked flesh growing from shattered wood as lightning tore the sky. Qin Mu's mind nearly collapsed under the Devil King's will until he barely protected himself with the Overlord Body 3 elixir technique. Taoists rushed in, activating the Great Mountain Sect's Devil Withdraw command, but the Devil King shattered it with a single glance, turning them to ash. Qin Mu finally broke free and fled with the others atop the dragon Qilin. Behind them, the Devil King laughed. "I taught you the summoning art. Now, I will build my altar from your corpses and bring my true body into this world." A Dragon Rider sect king intervened, but even he was struck down. Lightning and roars devastated the city as experts fell like wheat. Staring at the catastrophe, Yue Qinghong murmured, "What kind of devil did you summon?" Qin Mu swallowed. "I don't know. We must leave. Long Jiaonan is coming." They hurriedly fled with the injured dragon Qilin. Unable to walk properly, he was swept into a tornado Hu Linger summoned, carrying him away. Behind them, Heaven Wave City collapsed. Though only the Devil King's consciousness and power had descended, he slaughtered freely using flesh and bone to construct his sacrificial altar. Even Life and Death Realm and Divine Bridge Realm experts were helpless against him. His roars crippled thousands of divine arts practitioners, while his 12 gazes massacred soldiers outright. The city dissolved into chaos as people fled or were smashed to death by the raging river. Qin Mu realized grimly that, with proper coordination, the city might have resisted briefly, but the sects scattered like loose sand, each fleeing for their own lives. A violent shockwave blasted Qin Mu into a forest. Badly injured, he barely protected Hu Linger, reviving her with dragon saliva. When she awoke crying about losing the dragon Qilin, Qin Mu reassured her, though the rest of their companions were also missing. As they searched, the forest parted. A colossal snake emerged. Long Jiaonan appeared atop it, battered but furious. "You destroyed Heaven Wave City. Who sent you the Imperial Preceptor?" Qin Mu fled instantly, teleporting through the forest. Long Jiaonan pursued relentlessly, revealing a terrifying ability. She shed her skin, emerging uninjured in a new body. Only then did Qin Mu realize. Long Jiaonan was female, raised as a son. Sensing Qin Mu's gaze, she pinpointed his position. He barely escaped again. Both rose into the air and froze. Below them, Heaven Wave City was gone. In its place stood a mountain of blood and bones. Duty and Devil King battled the Dragon Rider sect's dragon, King and another cult master, overwhelming both. Above the city, the sky tore open. From the vortex poured tens of thousands of heavenly devils, of Dudian, killing each other as they fell, their corpses enlarging the altar. Blood rained from the sky. High-ranking devils descended, chanting ancient devil speech as radiant runes filled the heavens. Qin Mu's eyes twitched. "I may have caused a catastrophe far worse than crippling the Imperial College." Long Jiaonan hesitated. Above Heaven Wave City, the vortex had fully become a passage to another world, and the heavenly devils pouring out grew ever stronger. Standing atop the sacrificial altar, Dudian Devil King spread his 8 arms and roared, "Leave the dying darkness of Dudian. This new world is rich with food and women, and its defenders are weak. Come trample it with me." Long Jiaonan watched in despair as her father lay crushed beneath the Devil King's feet. His flood dragon immobilized. Another cult master had already been beheaded, his head held aloft like a trophy. Was Dragon Rider sect truly finished? The heavenly devils fell like rain. Qin Mu was blasted from the sky, landing amid several devils. Calmly he fought back, beheading one, shattering another's soul, until a cow-headed devil challenged him head-on. Before it could strike, Long Jiaonan's colossal snake crushed it flat. She charged into the horde, but even she was quickly bogged down. Heavenly devils swarmed endlessly, blotting out the sky. Cold sweat trickled down Qin Mu's face. "This disaster is beyond me." Suddenly, brilliant light surged from the south. Sword formations. Countless swords, millions filled the heavens. Wherever they passed, heavenly devils fell headless. Sword pellets spun like moons, releasing flying blades in endless variations. The black sky cleared in moments. Duty and Devil King roared in fury and hastened the summoning of his true body. Devil chants thundered as a massive flame-wreathed foot pushed through the void. The sword formations turned as one and charged Heavenwave City. The Devil King raised a black barrier. An earth-shattering clang erupted as swords struck it, deafening mortals and devils alike. Even across the river, Eternal Peace soldiers clutched their ears in agony. On the far shore, Duke Wei stared in shock. The Imperial Preceptor, someone of your level, has arrived. Eternal Peace, Imperial Preceptor watched calmly. Stronger, perhaps. And with me here, Duty and Devil King will not descend. He stepped forward. In Heavenwave City, Duty and Devil King faltered. This body only wood and borrowed power could not withstand the Swordmaster's might. Fear surged. Then a single sword light flashed. It was perfect, so perfect that the Devil King could admire it without regret. His head fell. The barrier shattered. The Devil King's corpse collapsed. The flying swords withdrew, reforming into thousands of spinning pellets before returning to a single wooden chest. The summoning ceased. The vortex shrank. Duty and Devil King's true body was forced back, his furious roar fading into the void. Qin Mu stared at the chest, stunned. That looks familiar. He chased it into the forest and stopped. An old man in cotton clothes stood there, a forging furnace on his back, a wooden chest in hand. His face was weathered by time. When he saw Qin Mu, he smiled broadly, revealing he had no tongue. Grandpa Mute. Qin Mu rushed forward and hugged the old man in cotton clothes. He tried to lift him, failed, laughed. Tried again, still failed. Only after Mute set down the wooden chest could Qin Mu spin him around, in excitement, before dropping him back down. Mute dusted himself off and gestured, "Too naughty." Qin Mu bombarded him with questions. Why had he left the village? How was he here? Were the sword pellets his? Who else had come? Mute answered with rapid hand signs and exaggerated expressions, sleeping. Walking, sneaking until Qin Mu surrendered. Slow down. Where's Grandpa Deaf? Mute looked smug. He had slipped out alone without telling anyone. When Qin Mu mentioned Butcher Blind and Granny Sai had also left the village, Mute chuckled. He then tried to hand Qin Mu the chest. Qin Mu snorted. Don't trick me again. That thing weighs a mountain. Mute grinned and gave him a thumbs up. Suddenly, both turned. Eternal Peace. Imperial Preceptor approached and stopped a dozen yards away. A senior from the previous generation, he asked. Mute signed casually. Qin Mu translated awkwardly. He says he's still young. The Imperial Preceptor frowned, unsettled that he needed Qin Mu as a translator. Dao brother, he said, your ability is extraordinary, but what you cultivate is not swordsmanship. May I witness it? Mute fastened the forge on his back and opened the chest. Inside were countless thumb-sized sword pellets. With a wave of his hand, they melted into liquid light, flowing over his body and forming a radiant armor etched with ancient defensive runes. The light shifted again, becoming a colossal bell, then a silver dragon, then a soaring sword, a falling shield, a spinning umbrella. The pellets could become any weapon, any treasure, even divine arts themselves. Qin Mu stared, stunned. This was the first time he had seen Mute's true ability. Even the Imperial Preceptor was speechless. At last the liquid light formed a silver boat. Mute leapt aboard, waved cheerfully at Qin Mu, and vanished into the sky. That was remarkable, the Imperial Preceptor murmured. You know him. He's my elder, Qin Mu said. The Imperial Preceptor misunderstood, then slowly realized Qin Mu came from the great ruins. His gaze deepened, a family of profound depth. Then he asked calmly, who summoned the devil god? I don't know, Qin Mu replied smoothly. I almost died myself. The Imperial Preceptor nodded, accepting it. The summoner earned great merit, but also grave sin. I will bury this achievement. No merit, no blame. Qin Mu exhaled in relief. That is best. As soldiers finished clearing the battlefield, the Imperial Preceptor added quietly. Contrarians kill with words, not blades. I've faced them all my life. What happens if your reform fails? Qin Mu asked. I'll be cursed for 10,000 years, he replied calmly. Even if I succeed, they will curse me for centuries. His expression dimmed. I once had a Dao friend who understood me, but he is gone. He fell silent, gazing into the distance.